So one of the things that people think about on holiday weekends, swimming. Obviously, and pools and beaches across the U.S. are facing a shortage of lifeguards. We have live pictures of Hampton Beach in New Hampshire, a lovely beach. I have to say, if you want to go to the beach in Hampton, New Hampshire, do it now because there's a lot of space there. I can't see in these pictures if there are lifeguards. I think there is a bench right there. I think they are well staffed, but it has been a problem hiring lifeguards across the country. Some of the reasons include low pay, difficult qualifying tests, and of course the pandemic. And obviously it can have dire consequences. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, 70% of drowning deaths for children 15 and younger happen between May and August. With me now is Adam Kaczmarczyk. He's the executive director of the National Drowning Prevention Alliance. Adam, great to see you. How big of a problem is this?
Good to see you, John. You know, it's a really big problem right now. Well, we don't have an official quantification of how large the lifeguard shortage is around the country. We know from just anecdotal reports from numerous communities across the country that this is a real problem. And when this problem is faced by a community, there's really only two options, neither which are good. One is to just simply shut down your lifeguarded facility or beach venue, or two, which is to turn it into a swim at your own risk facility or venue. And neither one is that good for the general safety of the public.
So this has been going on for 3 years. I mean, you could see it as an acute problem for the last 2 years. I haven't been out enough to know whether they're acutely missing so far this year, but why would it take so long to fix?
Yeah, we're really dealing with both a short-term and a long-term problem. The lifeguard shortage really isn't a new problem. Those of us in aquatics have heard about this for quite some time, even before the pandemic. But the COVID-19 pandemic really did exacerbate the problem. And now what we're, really finding is facilities and venues are faced with an immediate problem to staff the current needs of the facility. But really the cycle is broken in a lot of these facilities and venues. A lot of these kids grew up in going through swim lessons and spending time at the beach or the community pool, and then eventually going on to that lifeguard training. And during the pandemic, when a lot of facilities and venues were closed, that broke the cycle. So now a lot of these lifeguards we had prior to the pandemic have moved on to other employment, and we're still backfilling those roles. And unless we come up with both a short-term and a long-term solution to this problem, this is something we're going to face summer after summer.
So very quickly, what do parents need to know? You say you're faced with a situation occasionally of swim at your own risk.
Yeah, there's a lot of swim at your own risk venues and places to go during the summer, from your backyard pool to a beach, to a lake, to a river. Families are going to go recreating around this water this summer, and we're excited about that. We want people to enjoy the water, but with the lifeguard shortage, it is important for people to keep in mind their own safety around the water. And we encourage at the NDPA, following our 5 layers of protection. That includes for backyard pools and venues around your home, making sure there's barriers and restricting access to that water. 70% of our toddlers are drowning during non-swim time. So a lot of times that's them escaping the home. So making sure we're restricting access. If we are going to an unguarded venue, making sure we're actively supervising, make sure there's a water watcher at place at all times. If you can get your children into swim lessons, it's never too late. Learning to swim is a critical means of reducing the risk of drowning. And then if you're going to natural water venues, a life jacket's always a good idea. And then 5, this is why our lifeguards are there. Be prepared for emergencies. Drowning and other aquatic injuries are true accidents. So just make sure we know what to do in an emergency and how to make that 911 call.
Adam Kaczmarczyk, thanks so much for being with us. Great advice.